Most people think liking winter is just a preference. The reaction they give you says otherwise. This explains what is actually happening underneath that discomfort. You are standing near a window in late afternoon light. The sky outside is already turning that muted gray, and you feel slightly more settled without explaining why. Someone mentions plans for summer, and your body reacts before your thoughts catch up. There is a small hesitation you do not voice. Not disagreement, just resistance without language. You stay quiet because it is easier than translating it. This is not about weather in the way people assume. It is about what your system stops doing when the noise drops. And you have probably never said it this clearly out loud. You do not need to. We will break down what is actually happening in that shift. Most people think winter is the thing that needs explaining. It isn't. Think back to the last time someone asked about your favorite season. You smiled and told them it was winter. Immediately, there was a brief pause in the conversation. A subtle, knowing smile appeared on their face, followed by a look that felt like you had just revealed a strange, hidden secret about yourself. The truth is, we naturally tend to treat whatever is popular as the standard. When your preference shifts away from the crowd, society automatically labels you as an outlier that needs to be questioned. Not even close. The cost of that moment is that you find yourself awkwardly explaining something that never required a reason in the first place. You talk about the cold weather, the coats, the feeling of wrapping yourself in a blanket, trying to make your preference sound normal to them. At that very moment, a single thought runs through your mind. Why does saying what you love out loud always feel so incredibly out of place? The awkward part isn't liking winter. It's realizing other people expect you not to. And that assumption hides something much bigger. People assume you love the cold. That's often not what happened. Most people take it for granted that you just adore the freezing winter. But more often than not, that is missing the point. A lot of us are not actually drawn to the winter. We are being pushed out of the summer. Think about the feeling of your shirt sticking to your skin before 9 a.m. Your head throbbing from the piercing, blinding sunlight. The exact moment you step outside your front door, and every nerve in your body instantly begs you to turn right back around. Biologically speaking, the combination of high heat, intense light, and constant sensory stimulation creates a massive overload on your nervous system. But because everyone else seems to handle it fine, you start to blame yourself and assume you are just overreacting. You look around and wonder, why does everyone else seem perfectly fine with this while I am drowning? Relief feels like preference. You didn't choose winter first. Summer pushed you there. But physical discomfort isn't the whole story. Good weather comes with a hidden invoice. Societal expectations dictate that summer isn't just a season. It comes with an unwritten rule that your time now belongs to everyone else. Think about the exact moment a group chat notification pops up. A road trip is proposed, or an invitation to a rooftop party lands in your inbox. Before you even have a chance to hit reply, deep down, you already feel completely exhausted. Because beautiful weather is always tied to non-stop social activities. And in a world like that, choosing to stay home instead is suddenly viewed as abnormal. Nobody mentions that part. The cost of that moment is that your precious rest time begins to be eaten away by a lingering sense of guilt. You constantly fight a silent battle in your mind. You really do not want to go, but you also have no idea how to explain it to them. Sometimes the exhausting thing isn't the event, it's the expectation. And eventually that expectation changes how you see yourself. This is where it gets expensive. When your authentic preferences are constantly met with resistance or judgment from others, you begin to subtly alter yourself to become more acceptable. You start saying yes to invitations, not because you actually want to go, but because you do not want to become the outlier who always says no. Psychologically speaking, our brains are wired to prioritize social belonging long before they prioritize personal comfort. You would rather choose the exhaustion of fitting in over the isolation of standing out. Slowly, the cost of that shift is that you lose touch with the genuine signals of your own body. You constantly tell yourself that maybe you should just try to be more like everyone else. The longer you adapt, the harder it becomes to notice you are adapting, and eventually something stranger happens. At some point, the problem stops being summer. After years of constantly shifting your behavior to fit in, you begin to turn inward and doubt your own authentic preferences. Think about the moment you genuinely just want to stay home. But immediately, a tense debate breaks out inside your own mind. You no longer trust your very first instinct. Psychologically speaking, repeatedly ignoring your inner signals severely erodes your self-trust. That's the shift. The cost of that erosion is that every minor decision in your life becomes an exhausting negotiation. You constantly battle the thought, do I actually want this, or am I just being difficult? You stop asking what you want. You start asking what looks normal. And that is why winter feels different. Winter doesn't force you to slow down. It simply stops arguing with you. The real reason you feel a deep sense of relief when winter arrives is because it provides a socially acceptable excuse to withdraw. Think about the exact moment it starts getting dark at 5 p.m. You choose to stay home, curling up in your own space, and best of all, nobody texts you to ask why. This is a rare time of the year when the external environment finally matches your deepest internal needs. Finally. The cost of all that constant negotiation from earlier is completely gone. You no longer feel the pressure to defend or justify your lifestyle to anyone. The peace isn't in the weather, it's in the absence of negotiation. But there's one layer deeper than that. Here's the uncomfortable possibility. The thing that is actually draining you the most isn't the pressure coming from society itself. It's the social version of yourself that you are forcing yourself to maintain every single day. Think about the times you smile. You nod along and go with the group plans. Everything looks perfectly normal from the outside, and everyone assumes you are having a wonderful time. Psychologically speaking, constantly wearing this mask of social harmony consumes a massive amount of cognitive energy over time. Look carefully. The cost of that effort is that exhaustion becomes your baseline state. You constantly battle a single thought. Why am I so burnt out after events that I was supposed to enjoy? The exhausting thing wasn't pretending. It's forgetting you were pretending. Which brings us back to winter. Maybe the comfort was never in the season. The gray skies, the quieter streets, no sudden plans, and absolutely no pressure to show up. The truth is, winter creates a much less demanding environment. A space where you do not have to constantly prove to others that you are living life the right way. The reduction of environmental stimulation and the drop in social expectations happen at the exact same time. Maybe that's it. You are no longer draining your energy trying to adapt. And in that quiet space, a single thought finally surfaces. I can hear myself again. Winter doesn't make you more yourself. It removes what was covering you. And that is why those gray skies feel so incredibly safe. It was never about preferring winter. It was about noticing how much effort it takes to exist in environments that constantly ask for more of you than you can quietly give. Some people do not escape summer. They simply lose themselves inside it. You are not someone who hates warm weather. You are someone whose system stops feeling honest under constant stimulation and expectation. Not rare, just rarely described correctly. Winter does not change you. It stops interrupting you. Notice what you feel more clearly when everything gets quieter. Not what you prefer in theory. What your body stops resisting without explanation. That difference says more than any label ever will. If this felt uncomfortably familiar, there is more of this language coming. Not explanations of who you should be. Just clearer ways of noticing what is already there. Some people call it preference. Others just call it relief when nothing is asking for their attention. And that silence is not empty. It is recognizable.